So very often I talk about how I do writing with a co-writer and we write practically every day. The problem we have is we keep coming up with new ideas before we finish writing the last idea. And then we get so excited about the new idea. We switch to the new idea and we've never finished an actual novel until this last week.
How does it feel? How does it feel to have it finished?
We're very proud of ourselves. It's the first one she's ever finished. Like she's never written an entire story. So
You
she's
lie.
over the moon. And I'm like, we did it.
What led you to actually finish the novel?
I had an idea pop in my head and I was looking at where we were at and I thought I just hold on to it. And I said nothing until we finished that last scene. And then she goes, what just happened? And I said, we just finished a novel. She got all excited, but then she was like, now what do we do? I said, well, I have this idea. And we jumped right into that one. So
Have you ever heard of the situation where you have a Word doc to put in all your ideas so that you can focus on the one that you're working on? Just putting it out there.
we're both just a little neurospicy. So we struggle with that.
Yeah, I hear you. I was actually quite proud of myself this week because I started with a new work in progress, but I wrote it down. What I hate the most about it though is when I have to retype it into my computer because naturally, when I type it, I want to fix what I'm writing instead of just copying whatever I wrote and then fixing it later. And so this weekend, I was just like, you know what? Just sit and just do it.
Congratulations. No, that's huge. I know you've been stuck on this one for a while.
Yeah, so I was feeling very hyped about that.
You should. You should. So today I have apple cider because I felt like my throat was kind of sore today. We're going with something soothing.
I don't know why, but every time you say apple cider, my mind just goes apple cider vinegar. And I'm like, ew, why are you just drinking it like that?
Zero vinegar, all the spices. No.
Yeah, so every time. Well, I have my Kit Kat mocha tonight. At least I'm not one of those people who say that if I drink coffee, then I can't fall asleep. Alrighty, are we ready for this episode?
We are ready.
Let's go. Hello, welcome to Tea and Tales. We are so happy to have you here with us. I'm Madeleine Nynel.
And I'm Sarah Sampson. We especially want to thank Amy W. Vogel and Carissa B. Holmes for joining us each week. Today's episode, we are talking about encouraging young people to write. And joining us today to help discuss this is young writer and published author Tyberiusz Wylon. So please welcome Tyberiusz. Tyberiusz, welcome to Tea and Tales. We are so thrilled to have you here. I got to meet you through Toastmasters, and because today's episode is all about encouraging young people to write, we thought who better than a youth who is a published writer?
Yeah, thank you so much to inviting me for this podcast. I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to it. And it's wonderful what you guys are doing here.
Aw, thank you.
So you just published the Confident Teen Playbook just a few months ago.
Yeah. I published it actually on my birthday and it's available on Amazon.
We've been talking about youth writers in a couple of our other episodes, and we're thoroughly impressed by youth who put something like that out. It's such a big project. So what led you to write your book?
So about 1 year ago, I was doing an application for a scholarship to go to American high school. And I was trying to do something more. I was trying to show that I achieved something different, that I have different perspective on different points of views and show them how I think, because that's what they were looking for. So I started it writing right then. I didn't finish for the last part of the scholarship competition, and I lost the scholarship, but it didn't stop me from doing it. It gave me even more power and encouragement to start pursuing that goal. My biggest goal here was to change teenagers' life and to show them how to be better and show them perspective that they can be who they want to be, that they can achieve anything they want to achieve. Because right now, people my age, my colleagues are afraid. They don't know what to do and they're maybe it's not the right time, maybe we can't do it, but the biggest thing is to start before you're ready and to just do it and don't wait.
Oh, wow. I feel like you were literally just speaking to me right now. There are so many things in life that I want to do, but then, as you said, it's like I'm always like, yeah, no, but no, it's not the right time, or like, I don't have the finances for this right now. Okay, I heard you. I think you specifically read it for teens, correct?
Yeah, so my first goal was to write it for all people, so all ages. But then I was talking to my dad most of the times, and he's like, but no one will believe you. How someone who is 40, 30, 50 years old will listen to a 16-year-old talking something about life. They will not believe that you can like tell them something important and valuable. So that's why I focus mostly on teens to be a peer voice for them.
I love that, yeah, because usually people say, write what you know. So I totally get that, but I think it's also very relatable to adults. So the Confident Teen Playbook has 66 drills to help teens win at life, mixed with real stories from your life. So why do these exercises make such a difference for teens and adults if they do find your book?
I've done it in a kind of a playbook standpoint to give my peers the guidance because that's what we need right now. We don't know how to act, we don't know what to do, how to start. And I want to show them what they can do every day to be this one step closer to success, to be this 1% better every day than what they've been yesterday. That's why I wanted to show these drills to sometimes help them when they don't know what they are doing and sometimes help them when they are in a hard situation and show them what they can do to get out of it and to be who they really are.
You said that you wanted them to be able to take something day by day. So I want to ask you, what's the number one thing or your number one favorite drill that if they take nothing else from your book, that they would do that and take it into their daily life?
I think it's a very interesting question because when I'm going through social media, going through people who achieved something, talking, there's always this question, the one thing that would you give to these people, the most important thing. And I would say it's really hard to say the one thing because there's a lot of important things and it's kind of like taking a shortcut. And I'm not saying it's bad or good, but sometimes we have to go the long way to get to some point in our lives. But the one thing that's the most important thing, I would say, it's to be confident, believe in yourself. And what I really like to do is the mindful walk, the walk in our head where we can really be with ourselves, be present and visualize the perspective, the moment that we want to be in. It helped me in my basketball career, in my school, in my projects, in working in teams, and in many more, to just sit there and be that we already achieved it. Because if we believe that we already done it, then it's possible. When we are stopping and saying that I can't win this game, then you will not. You have to believe it first, and then you have to show others.
I'm quite impressed by the way that you said that because I think in today's day and age, we are so forced to, everything has to happen now and everything is like scrolling and ticking and talking and all these things. So everything moves at such a fast pace. And for a 16-year-old to actually say something like sit back and just be mindful and just, it's not going to happen instantly when you do something. I do wish that more people in today's day and age, whether you are a teenager or whether you are an adult, have that same mindset. So who are big influences in your writing and in your speaking?
I would say for sure my biggest mentor was my dad. He's a person who helped me through my whole life so far and my whole career, my whole business education. Even he's the one who told me about Toastmaster, about public speaking, and about all these opportunities that I can do. He's for sure my biggest mentor. 1 year ago, when I started writing a book, I started writing about my own perspective because when I was watching people like Mark Cuban, Carol Dweck, James Clear, they were showing their own perspective. They're showing their own point of view. And I was, but I have my own point of view too. So why would I not show it? Why would I not make it big and make it good? Because I believe that's great and that's how we should do it. That's kind of what pushed me. And also these people who always didn't believe in yourself. I remember in my primary school, I had a really good friend of mine who told me that I can't win a chemistry Olympiad in an 8th grade because his sister was competing in it and she didn't won and it's not possible and blah 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 blah. And I proved him wrong. I won it and I achieved it, but these people who showed me that they don't believe and that I'm just a normal human being, and these people pushed me towards do it and towards to show them that it's really possible, and also to show these people who are in clouds and they don't know what they are doing, to show them what they can do to start. Because my biggest goal was to change teenagers' perspective, to change their point of view, and to help them grow and help them be who they are and don't just fit into some place, because it's just with a bottle of water. In a store it costs $1, but in an airport it costs $7, and that's your real value, what place you are. So maybe right now, if you are not valuing in one place, switch places. Maybe you are not the problem, but the environment is.
Okay, now I have another quote from my quote wall. And I feel like we're hearing right now why you have become a one-on-one peer mentor, why you have worked so hard to try to get Gavel Clubs, which is the youth program from Toastmasters, into other people's lives, because you have this vision. For me, remembering back going in from my teen years into my adult years, those perspectives don't just magically change once you become a 20-year-old. There are things that you have to have already worked on and you eventually have to work on in your life as an adult or a teenager. And so starting that early, I think, has so much value, not just for teenagers who want to become speakers and want to become writers, but us as adults remembering for our teenagers to foster those things. So with you as a peer mentor and helping teams to organize things like the Gavel Clubs, and you do motivational speaking at schools and all of these different things, how important is it that teens have that kind of support from another teenager, from their peers?
So I think it's crucial in our lives to have someone who's our mentor, to have someone who already went the path that we are doing and who can stop us and say, wait, do it like that, or try doing something else because that will help you. The biggest thing why I want to be a mentor for my colleagues is because I see how much mentors change my life, how much my dad and talking with him about everything and nothing helped me grow and help me understand my life, understand what I'm doing, what's the purpose. And I'm a person who is thinking a lot. Thinking a lot about a lot of things, about purpose of life, about why, when, and what is going on. I believe that someone who already thought about something and show this perspective will help you to just make your own perspective. It's not always like you have to take your mentor's side. You have to be like your mentor. No, be your own self. Because in life, the purpose of life, I believe, is to be happy and do what we want to do in our lives. And when we are gathering different perspective, then it's easier to find ourselves. It's easier to know what we want.
Tiberius, could I have you like as my spirit animal? Because what in the flippity flip flop is happening right now? I feel like you're personally talking to me, and I'm not even a teen, which is fantastic, which just kind of shows how it honestly doesn't matter what age you are. I think we all have goals in life. We all have struggles to get to those goals. And sometimes we do feel lost and we don't know where to go or what steps to take, which is great that they have something then like this novel or this book to be able to give you those steps and just kind of take you into a direction and help you to achieve that goal of yours. For yourself, what value do you see in doing these things as a teen that are often viewed as adult goals?
I would say that it's kind of a fear of being average. I never wanted to be like others. I always wanted to show something. And through my life, I mostly did. It was awesome feeling. It wasn't always easy. Sometimes people didn't like you because of that. They've been jealous. And also being here in America right now as an exchange student in high school showed me also a different perspective of teens here. They are more supportive, less jealous than from my country. Why I'm doing that? It's because for right now, I believe that's my purpose, that's my goal. And I have the ability to change people's lives, so why not do it? Of course, I can be sitting and scrolling social media. I'm not saying that I'm not doing that. Sometimes just maybe even telling yourself that you can rest and you don't have to do every time everything. This thing that drives me into that all the time is I remember things like going to some business meetings and I'm introducing myself. I'm saying, I wrote a book, I've done some other projects, I founded Gave a Club, and they are like, there is no way the guy wrote a book. And then I'm talking with one-on-one with person for 15 minutes and he is like, yeah, you could write a book, and I believe that it could be awesome book and could be about self-development and stuff like that. And that's what's really great for a person like me to feel and to hear that after they talk with me, they really believe it and that it will have a value.
I just keep thinking in my head how often we as adults will sometimes unintentionally squish the hopes and dreams of a young person because we say, oh no, you couldn't possibly do it. You're only this age, rather than saying, well, okay, let's see what you can do and let's push and let's see what happens from this. And I feel like that is an important key for us as writers, where when we see these young teenagers who are trying to figure out how to get into writing and how to make this work, that we don't say, oh, you're not very good at plotting yet. You're not very good at this yet. You need to get better at this, that, the other. And I, as an adult writer, I'm still working on a lot of these skills, but to be able to say, okay, well then let's do work on this and to push them and encourage them forward. On your website and in your book, you also list historical figures and you called them famous co-pilots. So what are these people and why are they important for teens to connect with?
So I would say, as I said about the mentors, that we can take something from them. And these co-pilots are like mentors for me. And in every chapter, I have one co-pilot who helped me the most through this perspective, through this story, through this journey. Like in Stress, the John Kabat-Zinn, who helped me to understand what mindfulness is and that it's important to be present. Through Carol Dweck, who introduced me to growth mindset and fixed mindset and how it's all working. To James Clear, who showed me how to make habits and why it's important to work every day, even a little bit of time, even these 15 minutes a day, because that's what really builds us. We are humans and we are people of habits, and maybe we don't realize it. Maybe we don't realize how big of a deal it is, but that's true. And sometimes we even feel that every day looks the same. And that's because of our habits. And that's because we are doing the same things. And it's important fact of it is to do the same things, but sometimes stop and delete the habit that is bad and put the new one. We can't make it very hard on ourselves. So we can't say, okay, I'm starting going to the gym. So I'm waking up an hour earlier and I'm driving 45 minutes to the gym. And then I'm going 45 minutes back home because I'm working all night. No, it's like 3 hours of change. That's crazy. Plus working out. So we have to wake up 5 minutes earlier and do 5 minutes of exercise. And that's already a change. And then after a week, after 2 weeks, we can make it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how we are doing it in our own pace. And the most important thing also here is to not compare ourselves, because that's what really stops us from the growth. You've done something, but it doesn't matter. It's not your life and you are a different human being. And maybe you'll be a guy who founded KFC at 75, Or maybe you'll be someone who, like young Sheldon, was a young genius. So it doesn't really matter who you are, but just be yourself. And these co-pilots are meant to help you in your struggles and to just show you a different perspective. But you don't have to always take it, but you can learn it and maybe think the same, that is also great, or change it and build more to it.
It is so very true. I am not a historical lover myself, so I'm like, I really do not care what happened in 1705 or who Alexander Hamilton was or any of those things. But I do think that we can all learn from history. There will be teens who don't give a flying fish about historical figures, but when you take them and you interpret them and how they actually helped you, that might also give someone a different perspective of how they can look at that person and look at that figure and just kind of look at the journey that they took and where they got where they got. And I love how you talk about like habits and all that stuff, because do you know how many times I told myself I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning so I can spend a half hour every morning to write? Yeah, that has not happened before. You would think that I know I'm not a morning person, so I would like maybe put that half hour in the evenings. So speaking of habits, we as writers always love writing resources because I think it's one thing that connects us all. It's one thing that helps us on this journey. And so are there any writing resources that helped you understand writing that could help other teens when they want to write their own story?
That's a great question. I would say it's mostly just me. There was no really something that I was basing on with my writing. I'm not really a person who even loves reading book. And it's tough sometimes. I'm mostly just reading some summaries and the most key points, or now with AI trying to analyze it, what to take from the book, these shortcuts, because I just don't have time to do that. And my dad is all the time encourage me and like, just read books. It's so awesome. Maybe some fiction, maybe something, because it's a different perspective. Maybe you will like be better in English words. Maybe you will know how to write even better or something. But I never really got into it yet. Maybe I should. That's not just who I am for now. It's pretty crazy that you would say like, I wrote a book, but I don't like reading it all. I focus on telling stories and telling examples and helping others, more like public speaking than, oh, it has to be this like a poem and then we will write here some fancy word or something. So that wasn't really my goal. So how to help teenagers to write? If you like writing, just try it. There is like two types of writers, I would say. There is types of writers who are writing like fiction, like stuff like that, so imaginary. And there are people who are writing guidebooks, playbooks, or their stories, how to do something, how to achieve something. So if you are the first one, then I can't really help you. You just have to love it and you figure it out by yourself, I'm telling you. But if you are the second one, just write the story, just write how to achieve, just write the guidance and don't focus about writing. You don't have to be the best writer. You don't have to have the best grades in English, in Polish. For me, I never had in my life the best grade from Polish. But just write it. Just feel it and put it on the paper or put it on the computer and go with it. Go for it. Now with an AI, you can even, after you wrote a story, you can even ask AI to make it sound a little bit better, because it's still your story. It's still as good as you wrote it, but then it just polishes these grammar mistakes or these some words that could fit in better. And maybe someone will say, oh my gosh, how you can do it? We are writers and we have to write by ourselves all the time, and this kind of art of ours. But I would say, yes, if you are in the first group, yeah. But if you are in the second, doesn't matter. Just use it. Just help yourself, because it's tough. And right now we have these resources, we have this ability to help ourselves with it. So why not use it?
I think you just touched on some really hot topics in the writing community, mentioning AI, mentioning things like that. Those are really hot topics. And I just want to point out that you said after I've written it, I get help to make sure it's polished and things. And there's great writing resources out there to help with that, like Pro Writing Aid, AutoCrit. Things are designed for writers to help us polish up our manuscripts without getting any of that AI tags. They're essentially a writer AI who they don't write for you. And that's kind of the key that you kind of said there. Just 2 weeks ago, I had a mother call me of a young woman who is trying to figure out how to publish her first book. She's a teenager. She's trying to figure out how to get her stuff out. I gave them some resources to look at. And I thought about this episode and I thought about you. And I'm like, you've already published and you self-published, which means you had to figure out the self-publishing software. You had to figure out how to get things into the right format and things like that. What was a good system that you used to help get your book published in the right formats and on the right places?
So I would say it's tough for people like me to publish a book, because I was looking for someone who will publish it with me, but I couldn't find it. Even when I wrote to someone, then the people told me, yeah, but you have to wait there 2 months to get to you back. And I was like, I don't have 2 months. That's not what I'm looking for. And it was great when I found that on Amazon I can self-publish book and I can just be done with it. And I would say the most resources, it was to learn how to do it. It was just to search online and help the good thing, even on YouTube, and just some people who already done it and who are showing how to do it right now and how to publish a book on Amazon. And that for sure helped.
So while you were writing the book and while you were trying to get things published, things never go smoothly. I can attest to that fact, that it never goes the way it's planned. Things don't just fall in order. What was the biggest obstacle for you while you were writing or publishing your book?
The biggest obstacle for the beginning was, okay, I have written, for example, 4 stories, but what more? I can't publish a book who is 50 pages or something like that. So I think just if you're going into writing, you have to have what to write. Yeah, I always, even when I'm writing essays or stuff like that, I can write tons of things. But if you will tell me, talk about ancient Greek, I can write a little bit. But if you will tell me how the education works in US comparing to Poland, then I can talk about it a lot. I can write a lot of examples. I can write a lot of things. So that's kind of what's important there, that you have to know what you want to write about and then feel it. My first idea of a book was different. I had cards and there was some questions. For example, what you would take on an island where there's no people there, or what you will do in some situation. And first idea was, okay, so I'll write the answers for these questions to just show the different perspectives. So for example, what I will take for an island, I wrote, I'll take Kobe Mambo Mentality book, because it will help me to grow, it will help me to don't give up, it will help me to develop the thing like fail, so first attempt in learning, that it's possible and stuff like that. But then I didn't really feel it. It was hard. It didn't really fill up these pages. So then I was, okay, but I have my own stories where I can show something that I already lived through. I already had my journey and just tell about that. And then I was just going back. What stories helped me develop what skill? And okay, I want to put that skill. I want to put that skill. I want to show this. I want to show that. And that's how it went on and on.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say, because you keep saying all these like very thoughtful things, and now I feel like I have to like get a notebook and like just write all these little tidbits in my notebook, because it's so helpful for me as an adult. But for teenagers listening, what is something you learned in this journey that you wish you knew earlier when you started out?
I don't know how early you want me to start, but no, like that's kind of the thing that it's really irritating me, or I just don't understand that. Like I kind of do, but it's just like, why that's how the life works. I remember even like 2 years ago, I was like, I want to achieve something. So and my dad just got PhD. How to get a PhD? And I'm looking, okay, book 200 pages. Okay, like I'll do it at some point. Okay. And then, oh, you have to have a university college. And for me, it's kind of like my book, start before you are ready, but just start. And right now I feel like maybe it's selfish, maybe it's bad point of view, but I feel like I already done way more things than some adults. And I don't understand why I have to still go through high school, through colleges, and how else it will help me, what else I can learn. I don't understand why the world kind of is stopping me from why to not be the best right now, why to not be the best at 16, why to be the best at 40, why I'll not learn right now what I'll learn at 40. What I wish I would know before I started, you probably mean writing a book. I would say to just be a person who, when you have it written, do it, and don't be like, okay, next week I'll publish it, next week. Just do it, because I know that took me a long time, even when I had it written, the publish thing, and that was the hardest part. Writing a book is one thing, but then publishing and have it in a paper that like people can buy it, that's what's powerful. And I see it right now that that's the best gift that you can give ever. I'm meeting someone and I can be, hello, nice to meet you. There's my book. I've been on some business event in Salt Lake, and there was people like Kenny Ortega from Imagine Dragons, the lead vocal singer, and I literally gave them my book. I have a photo and I gave them my book, and it was just awesome. That maybe at some point in their lives, when they will have it on the shelf, someone will walk and be like, what is that? And they will pull up, they can find me, and it's just great. And that the feeling that I can show that it's really a thing, that was really powerful. And everyone is like, okay, you wrote a book, can't believe that. And then when you give them the book, they are like you wrote it, like there it is. Just do. The most thing is just do and be happy with it. So if you don't want to do it, you don't have to prove it to yourself.
I think that's really, really smart, though, is to not compare yourself, to get yourself out there. I think having that vision from the beginning would help so many people. And so I'm going to switch this a little bit. For the adults that are listening, what would you say is the best thing they can do to encourage children and teens to have confidence in their story?
Oh, it's really tough. It's really tough. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to figure out like every day. But with teenagers, it's very tough because there's not a lot of people who like reading books. And if they do, they like reading novels, they like reading fiction stories. They don't really like to read a book that will help them or like show them how to live their lives, because how am I better than them? Why should they listen to me? To encourage these teens, I would say, yeah, that's the most important thing for parents to figure out. I see from my development how much my parents helped me, and that's the most important thing, how I was raised versus the others. That for me it's good, maybe others it doesn't matter, but it really does. And these beliefs that the parents are giving us, the behaviors that they are showing us, that's the most important thing. So I would say to encourage them, you have to show how you are doing things, and you have to show them an example. It's kind of like being with a leader. When you have lead, listen, engage, adapt, and deliver. To deliver, you have to be more engaged. You have to show them that you care, that they will care later. You have to be the example. You have to be this leader in your own family. But then you have to also listen to their needs and don't let them. Because if you don't have a good relationship with parents, then they'll not care what you're saying. And it's starting really, really early. And now people would say, oh, so it's too late when my kid is 14, 13, 16 years old. Kind of, but no, because it's just developing skills. Maybe you can just talk with your kid and be, okay, I changed, but you have to show the proof that you changed, because the kid will know if you changed or if you didn't. And this relationship, this trust is what really will make an opportunity to show this kid to engage it, to do something, to learn. That's how you should do it. Just build a relationship, build trust, and then from it you can go anywhere.
Practice what you preach. Do you have any plans for writing another book, or what does your future look like for books?
Right now, probably maybe in a couple of months, I would write another book about an exchange program, an exchange life in America, how the American dream looks like and how that works. So that's kind of what my goal maybe for the next year, what I want to do. And then we'll see like what's going on, and we'll see how that will move. And then probably at some point in my life, like when I'll have an audience, because that's kind of what's the hardest for me, to get these people to listen and that they will understand it. That's really tough, and I didn't really focus on that much, and that's what I also need to do at some point. So probably a couple of books also about self-development, or even about being a good kid or something like that. But on the other hand, teenagers don't really care about that, so that's also tough.
Yeah, I can totally understand. It's nice. It's wonderful to hear the progression and the thought processes that you're having to try to put together something that people are going to care about, the finding that audience. Because I do know there are some kids who would absolutely love something like that to land into their hands, who may not have the background and the parents and support. And I hope that your book does find that audience and the correct audience. Thank you for joining us today, Tiberiusz. I just love your spirit. I love your enthusiasm for life. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a great time, and that I could show my perspective, and I could show kind of some of my stories and how I see the life and how we can live it.
And if you would like to hear more or look up more on Tiberiusz, you can go to his website at tyberiusz.com. That's spelled Tyberiusz, and that link will also be in the show notes. We like to keep things short here on Tea and Tales. Get your fingers back on the keyboard and your pens back on paper.
And if you like what we are doing here, if you like the guests that we have on and the topics that we are discussing, go follow us on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at Tea and Tales Podcast, and on Twitter/X at Podcast Details. Then get to that purple icon on your device and go to Spotify and go share and like and comment and say how much you love this podcast and who has your favorite guest been so far, or what is your favorite young adult novel to read. And so you can help us go up, it's a moment.
And today, the 20th of April, 2026, is your last chance to get into the drawing for a free blurb review with Jesse Cuniff. So jump onto our social media and find that link. Get yourself into that drawing. Happy writing.
Bye.